Hello everyone, Mege here, back after some time of not really uploading or being that present here on YouTube. If you've been following my community posts here on YouTube, you know why, but some of you might not know, so just in case, around a week ago my mother sadly had to be taken to the hospital. She's still there, she's been through 3 surgeries, but yeah, let's not talk about that at the moment, but of course I've been pretty busy. So today I want to talk about the changes which were discussed in yesterday's Warriors Den by the devs. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just the ones I'm more interested into, namely the parry changes and the Highlanders update. If you want to check the full patch notes, or actually the abridged patch notes, because the full ones are coming on the 8th, I'm leaving a link in the description to Pope's Reddit post with them. I'm also having some gameplay in the background, so you don't hear me talking for the whole video, and I thought a Highlander duel would be pretty fitting for this video, so yeah, I thought it was a pretty good one too, so yeah, check it out. Okay, let's start right away with the parry changes. So, parries no longer guarantee a guard break. How is it done mechanically? Now during the parry stun animation, so you know, after you're parried, you're kind of stunned and stumbling backward, you can now counter guard break during all of that animation. So, you might remember that the devs tried something similar, like changing the parry follow-ups this summer, I think it was around this summer, in the PDS to fix the defensive meta. Back then they just removed guard break from parries, but they also normalized parries, so getting a heavy parry or a light parry wouldn't have the same reward, which back then was a light attack. Community was kind of displeased with this, so the developers listened, props to them, and they're now having different rewards for heavy attacks and light attacks, much like the live game. So, no more guard breaks of parries. Of course, this is aimed at fighting the defensive meta, because parries, being defensive options, were, in my opinion, way too rewarding. For example, as the devs themselves are stating, parrying to guard break could lead to a wolf stagger punish, and out of stamina a knockdown punish, so for example Warden's double heavy, a lot of damage, or in some cases even spikes punish, ledge punish, so a one-hit kill due to hazard, due to the environment. So what do we get off parries now though? Heavy parries will give you a 600 frame advantage, which means any character, any hero in the game can get a light attack, while light parries are going to give you a 900 milliseconds frame advantage, meaning all heroes, I think even Highlander, I'm not sure about Highlanders, but pretty much all heroes can get an heavy attack. So this doesn't change much after all, except for not being able to get a guard break anymore. So to give a quick example, Warden still gets his top heavy on a light parry, and now gets any light attack on an heavy parry, even a double side light into shoulder bash, into whatever, which is pretty good in my opinion. The developers also have some specific hero changes to go along with this parry change. For example, Berserker doesn't get a top heavy on an heavy parry anymore, and Oroshi's double top light damage is being reduced from 32 to 22. And while this may feel pretty huge, you also have to think that Orochi would get his top light from an heavy parry, and getting a 32 top light from an heavy parry is not something they have in mind for the game at the moment, even though like Lawbringer is still going to get similar damage, but that's Lawbringer, and Lawbringer is kind of built around, you know, parrying and counter-attacking. And also Orochi is getting Wind Gust and Riptide Strike buffed, so it's not like he didn't get anything, and both of those attacks are getting a 10 damage increase. There's also some other changes to other heroes, and as I said, you can check the patch notes yourself with the link in the description, but I'm going to move to the spicy Highlander update. So, Highlander, starting with Celtic Curse. Celtic Curse is a dash attack from Highlander where he goes for a top heavy, and halfway he can swap with a side heavy. You can soft feint it into a side heavy. So now the top heavy, so the regular attack when not feinted, if you hold down the heavy button, can be feinted into offensive form. So this opens up many more options and many more mix-up options. It's very interesting, like if the opponent goes for a parry or whatever. And I think it's pretty cool, and another way to go into offensive form. They're also increasing the tracking of the move in general, which is good for catching opponents, I guess. The top heavy was kind of iffy at catching running away opponents, and this should also help his 4v4 capabilities. One of the most important changes they're going through is the stamina changes, since Highlander is notorious for having a lot of stamina problems, they are removing the stamina cooldown for entering offensive form. In case you don't know, when going in offensive form, your stamina regen would pause for a moment. That's not the case anymore, and they're also letting Highlander regen stamina while dodging in offensive form. I didn't even know this was a thing, honestly, but that's good. And very importantly, they are reducing the stamina cost of Balor's Might from 30 to 24. Balor's Might is the unblockable heavies in offensive form. And they're really a vital part of pretty much all of Highlander's mix-up. Either you let them go, you feint them into a kick, you feint them into cover toss or whatever. It's very good that they're getting a stamina cost reduction. Another change I'm going to love is the overall increase in damage on all Highlander's heavies, and that's oh so good. You have this big hairy Scotsman wielding a claymore, and then you get to his heavies, which are, it's not like they are not damaging, but they didn't really feel that impactful, considering Shaman, for example, get a similar damage with their little knife or kukri. Now he's getting 10 more damage on the offensive unblockable heavies, which is huge considering they are guaranteed after kick and after the cover toes. And also in general more damage on the defensive heavies too, bringing the top heavies in defensive form to 45 damage. They were 40 before. It's just a 5-point increase, but I'm still sure this is gonna help make him feel much more satisfying and impactful, as I said earlier. Of course, this also means that successfully trading with hyper armor will be more rewarding. A common complaint about Highlander is how his light heavy chain, which I can't remember the name of now, his light heavy chain, the second light in that chain would give a guaranteed Garbrick to the opponent if blocked. That's not the case anymore, and not only that, but the second light in that chain is now having hyper armor. And this is going to be, I think, very interesting. Not many people are discussing this change, but I feel like this is going to really help, since he's getting hyper armor on a quicker attack, so you can trade much more on reaction, supposedly. Of course, it's in the middle of a chain, so it's not like you just press light and trade, but it's still something I'm very curious as to how this will play out. They are also improving cover toss. Cover toss is the common grab in offensive form, the one where Highlander kind of dashes forward, grabs the opponent and slams him on the ground. They are improving the tracking on back dodging and diagonally back dodging opponents, and this is very good. Of course, someone may argue that all of this is kind of pointless if you can still roll away and just negate all of these mix-ups. But at the same time, while I'm happy with the parry changes, I also think that some other options, defensive options such as back dodging and rolling away, need to be looked into, as they are way too effective at the moment, but that's something for another day. And so far I'm liking these changes for what they are. And as well as the cover toss change, they're also increasing the distance Highlander covers when dodging forward in offensive form, which should help with him catching up to opponents probably. The last thing I want to talk about, which isn't in the patch notes, is Warden's zone attack not giving a guard break on block anymore. That's so good. I mean, while I still think Warden needs a deeper rework to make him much less reliant on shoulder bash and, kind of making him more about sword play, that's something I would love. I'm still happy he's getting this change to at least give him some more options than he already has, since the zone attack was pretty much something you would use very sparsely because of the risk-reward ratio being very, very bad. Alright, so that's what I wanted to talk about for this video, but before leaving you to the gameplay, I wanted to say something else, and that is, I'm very grateful, very thankful for all of your cheering messages for my situation, or rather, my mother's situation. I always love reading through them, and all of your kind words are very encouraging, very helpful, really. And so, really, thank you. I really thank you for them. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do leave a comment, as I really love comment and really love reading through them. I will see you all next time, and I hope you have a good day.